Hey guys, today is May 25th. Actually, it'd be May 26th, probably by the time I upload this video. But I want to talk about the date May 29th and also touch on June 11th. And one of the possibilities that I see is a plane crash. So I've seen a pattern that's been reoccurring with plane crashes in this movie, The Dark Knight, and especially this scene. And there's been a connection with presidents as well. And May 29th definitely has that connection, both connections as well. So very high watch date, I think, for another plane crash to occur. So this scene in The Dark Knight Rises, the guy is wearing the number 86 and the stadium is being blown up as he runs for a touchdown. But it's in Hines Field in Pittsburgh. And I've connected this to the Hines family. So plane crashes, the number 86 in the Hines family, because Henry John Hines was 86 years, 8 weeks, 6 days old when this plane crash occurred on Christmas Day. Flight 8243 in Kazakhstan, right? So it was, it's on the other side of the world if you're in the West. So this is in the Middle East. So yeah, it connects to Christmas Eve, but one day off on the other side of the world, it's Christmas. So basically it connects with a double 86 to his birthday. But that's just one example, because a few days later, on December 29th, we had a larger plane crash in South Korea the same day that Jimmy Carter died. So there's been a big president connections to plane crashes. And this was really the first one that started it, the day that Jimmy Carter died, the plane crash in South Korea. And we had, once again, a big connection with the number 86 in the Hines family, because Teresa Hines, who was married to John Hines, was 86 years and 86 days old, with the end date included, when this plane crash occurred. So when she became a widow, she married John Kerry, and John Kerry's a member of the Skull and Bones Club. Their number is 322. And in this movie, the section that blows up first is section 322. So not a coincidence there, right? Then we had a plane crash on January 29th. The president connection continues, because that was the date that William McKinley was born, the 25th president. So interesting, the 25th president in the year 2025. But he was a president who was also assassinated September 14th, 1901. It's also interesting that our new American Pope has the birthday that this president was assassinated, September 14th. But besides the date of a president being born, there was a president connection with the airports, because this plane took off from Eisenhower Airport and crashed trying to land, almost landed at Reagan. So, and there is also another connection with The Dark Knight Rises and the Hines family once again. Again, this is played in Hines Field. But we see number 86, but he's running with number 14. And this plane crash happened 86 years, 14 weeks after John Hines was born. Now, if we go back all the way to 2001, November 12, 2001, that was just 2 months after the 9/11 attacks. Well, there's another major plane crash in New York City, killing 265 people. This happened to be exactly 86 days after Hines Field opened. Number 86 running in Hines Field, The Dark Knight Rises. So I just showed you 4 plane crash connections with The Dark Knight Rises in the scene. So this plane on November 12th, by the way, it took off from John F. Kennedy Airport and it crashed shortly after. Now May 29th is John F. Kennedy's birthday. And look how many days it is after Hines Field opened. 86 days. 8,686 days with the end date included. And by the way, I didn't cover it, but I don't have the slide. It's been talked about before, but there was a plane crash on January 31st. And that was a medical flight that crashed near Roosevelt Mall on Roosevelt Boulevard. So there you go. There was another precedent connection with that. And we also had Bush Airport, a plane catching on fire, the beginning of February this year. And there seems to be some sort of Venus ritual here. I'm not sure what it means, but there's a pattern, so I want to share with you guys. If you look at the day that JFK died to May 29th, his birthday, it will be his 108th birthday. So it will be exactly 100 Venusian years, Venus years. Well, Venus equals 18. So 108th birthday, Venus equals 18. 100 Venusian years since his death, right? You can always drop the zeros in numerology. And look, if you type in JFK in the gematria calculator, in the base ciphers, you have matching three numbers, 27, 54, and 18, with JFK and Venus. Now look at this, guys. Donald Trump was born exactly 47 Venusian years and 47 days after JFK was born. And of course, Trump is the 47th president. And he appointed Robert F. Kennedy Jr. as head of Health and Human Services. So Robert Francis Kennedy is full name. If you don't say the junior part, it's 116 in reverse reduction. Now, from the day that Robert F. Kennedy was born to May 29th, it's exactly 116 Venusian years. So this seems to be way too much to be a coincidence with the Venus connection here. Now I'm going to show you guys another pattern that's matching up that could mean another plane crash coming on May 29th. Well, Donald Trump cut the Air Force One plane cake on the day he was inaugurated. And that was exactly 666 months after the moon landing. So, and we had this plane crash just shortly after, 9 days later, that had a 666 connection to NASA. 66 years, 6 months. Cuts the plane cake, connecting to the moon landing. A plane crashes, connecting to NASA with the same numbers, 666. That cannot be a coincidence. And 129 is the 97th composite, just like plane crash equaling 97. Well, from the day that Trump cut this plane cake to May 29th is also 129 days. Again, the 97th composite number, plane crash equals 97. Now we're going to look at the day that NASA was founded, once again connecting it to May 29th. But dates reversed. So I've told you guys in other videos that I continually look at reversing the dates because I see connections that lined up that happen with events that already happened, right? And I see this connection with the dates reversed, matching up once again with the 666 connection in NASA. So NASA founded July 29th. You reverse the dates. That means you just put it over here, 729, and put the date that we're looking at, 529. So, and we have 806 months. 806 is the 666 composite number. So once again, we have this 666 connection with NASA, but the date's reversed to May 29th. So I also see a significant number connection with Sean Duffy's birthday. He is the head of the Department of Transportation. So 19,597 days, but that's the 2,223rd prime. And I've been saying before that it's the skull and bones connection. Yeah, skull and bones is 322, but I continually see connections that line up with 1, 3, multiple 2s in any order. I've been seeing this since 9/11 because 9/11 is what got me into looking into numerology when I discovered all the 322 connections, but they weren't straight 322 connections. They were 2322, whatever. And since then, I've been looking at that number more than any other number. And that's how I know, not just to look at the 322, and this was a very significant connection. So here's a repeating pattern. I'm not sure if it's significant or not, but it connects to the Department of Transportation. And it's 58 years and 58 days. Well, if I'm right, actually, and there's a plane crash in Pittsburgh, then it will be very significant, because Pittsburgh does equal 58, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, PA, equals 58 as well. So I also have this connection with the Hines family, and the Dark Knight rises 86 again for June 11th. So that's 86 years, 8 months, 6 days from the date that John Hines was born. So going back to the January 29th plane crash, well, as I said before, that plane originated from Eisenhower, crashed at Reagan. But what's significant is the two airports' founding dates are exactly 6 years, 11 weeks apart. 6/11, he was shot at 6/11. And on 6/11, it will be 285 months after 9/11. That's the 223rd composite number. Well, that's Skull and Bones number backwards, and 9/11 was a huge Skull and Bones ritual. But I'm waiting to see what happens on my other watch dates first, May 27th and May 29th. I made a video. My last video was about May 27th. So I will talk to you guys in the next video. Take care.